Hey, welcome. This is The Process. My name is Dr. John Bush. We are continuing our journey, 2022 strength of schedule, defense against the position, team by team. I'm doing the last four kind of generically, week by week, all 18 weeks. We started lesson 155. So start there, come here after that. This is for the scienceoffantasyfootball.com. If you hadn't been there, all my articles and my part D Mike, his articles and takes are all there. Our podcast links, all the goodies you need are there for you. We're winding down the last four here. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Tennessee, and Washington. And I've talked a little bit about how I use this. I think it's really valuable to me in streaming, tight ends, potentially quarterbacks, potentially defenses, for sure defenses. And I think you can also spot runs and where there's a lot of extreme good or bad games for a team in a row. That gives you trade opportunities. It gives you waiver wire opportunity. It gives you an idea about game scripts if you play daily fantasy sports. So all this is critical. We're still using 2021 data because I don't have a time machine. And when the new data comes along, we'll start, at least we as in what, I've got a mouse in my pocket. Me will be adding that data and trying to update this information. I made it very straightforward. I think instead of just numbers, I think that can get a little confusing, and it's just let me kind of parse the numbers for you, and I've annotated whether it's an easy or a tough situation the team should be facing. So let's continue the journey with Seattle. Let me hit this button here. There we go. Seattle by week 11. First week, Seattle D has an easy situation, so they are definitely in the streaming a consideration. The only concern I have, of course, is Russell Wilson is with Denver, and he kind of knows the defense, so that might be tricky and might, be an illusion. So I have actually not been using the Seattle defense, but I think they're definitely potentially available weeks 3 and 4 against Atlanta and Detroit. And again, this is just looking at that. Overall, though, Seattle only has 3 easy games, weeks 3, 4, and 17. Okay. And tough, they have weeks 1, 5, 6, 9, and 14. So they really have 5 to 3. So it's a tougher season, which is never so good there. Penny, the running back here, he has first couple weeks really tough, easy, then back to tough, couple easy, back to tough, into the bye. So it's kind of a zigzag scenario, so just be aware of that. And I think in daily fantasy, if this holds up as a game script prediction, that's going to mean those transitions. For instance, week 3, people might discount Penny because he's had 2 tough weeks, and that might give you some advantage. Might be a trade target. People may got down on him after 2 weeks. It happens. and so forth. And of course, then the opposite is week 5. Penny may have had 2 nice games, and it would be time to potentially set him, off your lineup and daily fantasy sports, not use him, etc. So use that as a metric. After the bye, Penny has 4 tough games, including 2 in the playoffs. So that's not something that I would expect him to lead you to the victory here. He does, though, have week 17 extra easy. So who knows? But right now, I'm not against him. I'm not for him. It does look kind of tough to me, especially after the bye there. He has a tough stretch. Quarterbacks, I guess is it going to be Drew Lock, Geno Smith? Whoever it is, first week's going to be rough and tough for them against Denver. So they could be spanked hard. In fact, the wide receivers, Lockett, Metcalf, the tight end, whoever they're using, it's all figures to be rough and tough. It is a home game, so that does help. The quarterbacks, though, weeks 2 and 3 get easy, and week 4 is okay, easy. And so what I then strove to is look at weeks 15, 16, 17. So that is good news as far as streaming quarterbacks. If you're down and out and, down at that point, or in a super flex and whatnot, whoever's running the Seattle might be help you out in your playoffs there. I kind of like that. And of course, Lockett and Metcalf figure well in the playoffs. So I'm very optimistic about the potential passing this year. I don't know if a lot of people have said that, but just looking through the lens of strength of schedule looks pretty good. The tight end, on the other hand, is an avoid for me, folks. It's the first 10 games, there's only 3 easy. The rest 7 are tough. So I am not investing in the Seattle tight end at that point at all. Okay. So another way to look at this data is I use a bar graph, and purple is the average. So anything above the purple is easy. Anything below is hard, and the extreme easy is the 3 weeks in green here, and the extreme hard are the 5 weeks in red. And so, there's 3 and 4, 7 and 8. There's the bye and coming out of the bye, so 10 and 12. Then you have a 13, 14, 15 kind of tough, and then 16, 17. A little bit easier. So there may be some hope for the playoffs if you're using, and I think some of the pass catchers for sure. I'm not sure about the running backs. We just talked about that. And another way to really hone it down to me is a trend line. When you're looking at this and you see the 3 and 4, it drops down. Comes back up a little bit mid-season, drops again, and then kind of comes back for you 16 and 17. So it's a roller coaster type pattern. And again, if you're trying to stream, you would like a quarterback, for instance, or whatnot, that has the opposite kind of pattern here, would be the best streaming fit for setting that up. And I don't think people use this trend line as a way to do that. So I know, as far as I know, I'm the only one doing that. So I think it's good. It's what I use. So anyway, hopefully it helps you out as well. And I'll have the my article that links in with these figures, so you can go stare at that if you need to. Tampa Bay. So Brady, I heard, was coming back or was back from his mysterious situation, whatever that was. And the bye week is week 11. The Tampa Bay D, people are drafting them, but I got them the first 4 weeks I wouldn't use them. I could see 5, 7, and 8. And some type of streaming week 15 and 17, but they are not a shoe-in at all for a streaming type defense. I know people are taking them, but I'm letting you guys take them. Overall, Tampa Bay has 2 easy games and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hard. So if they repeat, Brady is going to have earned all of it because they are facing an insane schedule. Look at that coming out of his bye. What is that? 4 out of the 6 games for our playoffs. It's tough. The cracks in the ship will appear there. That's where it really goes off the rails. So just, I know a lot of people are drafting a lot of players. Just be aware. There are icebergs out on the path. So don't be surprised. Fournette, I know people are grabbing him, but he gets 4 tough weeks. And 2 easy, then 3 tough. And then look at the playoffs and out of the bye. 1 out of 6. So Fournette's going to earn it all too. Wow. He's not somebody I'm reaching for sure when you look at this. So be very cautious. That does not mean I would not draft him, but I would not want to have him as my number 1 running back given this. He would be a nice number 2 fit. And even then, there's going to be some people in some surprises if any of this is true. This schedule here. Brady has 2 first tough weeks, but his wide receivers have 2 easy. So sometimes that can mellow out a little bit and make it okay. So it looks to me the first 5 games, it's going to be all about that passing boss. And then it starts getting, the nuts start to be cut at week 6, 7, and 9, and 10. And if Brady does do his magic, it will be through passing, and weeks 13, 14, 15, 16 will be where he does it there. Tight end wise, I know probably Garnk's not doing it, but after the bye, the tight ends are rough, tough. Look at that, 1 out of 6. So if you're using the Tampa Bay tight ends, you definitely want them 8, 9, and 10 are nice, and 1 and 3. So there's a stretch there. Definitely look to me to be more streaming type plays than anything else there. And I've not been investing heavily in the Tampa Bay tight ends. So overall, the wide receivers don't look too bad. So I'm not scared away by this, but it is not something that's fall down easy either. So just keep that, in your mind there. Definitely don't reach for them. 2 easy games. I know week 18, but we're not counting that. And I forgot to colorize weeks 2, 7. Look at this. 12, 13, 16, 17 are rough and tough. I should have put, just my fault on making this. That is not good there at all. So the trend line looks like this, that it's tough early, gets a little bit 4, 5, 6, drops, and boy, it just hits the bottom and then only comes back week 18. So this is a real tough negative schedule to me. When I see this kind of pattern, it really gives me worries there. And, mental toughness. I think Brady gets to prove it here. So you heard it here first. It is not a slam dunk season at all. He will earn everything here. I could see the wheels coming off the bandwagon quick. And we'll see how everybody all puts it together. Tennessee's D is definitely in play week 1. So draft them. Week 3 as well. They have an early bye week 6, so you get that out of the way there. And, Tennessee's D has some weeks there. It looks like it's every other week almost, kind of a zigzag pattern there. So just keep that in mind. Look for another D that kind of has that opposite pattern there for the situation. As far as toughness, only 2 extreme tough games. The rest of them are either, average easy or hard a little bit, but really easy. 4. So 4 versus 2. So Tennessee has a relatively nice little schedule here. And the running backs with Henry here, first week 1 and 2. And then look going into the first 2 weeks of your playoff, 15 and 16, and look at weeks 12 through that. So he could really lead you. It's just week 17 could be an quarterbacks, first 3 weeks are going to be rough, but going into the bye and coming out is easy, and it gets easy after that. A few tough things, but again, weeks 15 and 16, nice. So Tannehill seems to be a usable QB, and his wide receivers there, Woods and Burks, and I don't know who else pops up. They figure as well, so I would not shy away from any of those and be liking that. The tight end, not bad as well. And in the playoffs, look at that. Easy, and above average easy. Tight end, you want the Tennessee tight end, but forgot who it is because they keep trading them in and out. But anyway, that is definitely a tight end you want to stream. You want him in your streaming type situation all day long. So I definitely recommend, if you're not getting one of the top tight ends, to invest in the Tennessee tight end if it's clear who that is. And right now, I can't think of who it is. You can go figure it out there. Okay, so how does that look with the bar graphs? And of course, here I am forgetting the Reds again, but the only 2 weeks, week 10 are tough. And easy is 5, 8, 14, 16. Of course, 18 we don't count. And it really seems nice here. Nice little after the bye kind of scenario. And actually before, it's not too bad. Tennessee has a nice schedule. And what that trend line looks a little easy, a little tough, and then it gets nice and easy, a little below, and then nice for the playoffs. So this is a good pattern, actually. And I would be all about investing in the Tennessee passing game here. Not reaching, but definitely not running away either. And this looks like a nice situation for streaming tight ends, quarterbacks, wide receivers could and might be some daily fantasy opportunities as well. Looks like some nice game scripts are going to happen for Tennessee this year. So Henry should have, a nice little time of it this season. So that's good. Good for him. Finally, Washington's D is first 2 weeks, they are streamable. And so I would jump all over them. And they have, I'd kind of leave them alone to about weeks 11, 12, 13, and 15. And then you want somebody else 16 and 17 in your playoffs. So there's some good and bad news. From about week 3 to 10, you probably don't want the D. So jump off, find you some streamers in there, then maybe acquire them before everybody realizes week 11, 12, 13, and 15, or it's all aboard the Washington train there. Hard, they only have one hard game, Chicago. And look at the easiness. Was that one? 5-1. That is a great time. So, this could really be an interesting season for Washington here. The running back, boy, Gibson's been getting a lot of trouble, hadn't he? They're already anointing the rookie here. It could be a serious committee, and we could all suffer because McKissick's not going anywhere either. It could be a real kind of cluster situation. Be cautious. But the first 3 weeks, it's all good. You want to jump off the bandwagon weeks 4 to 8, jump right back on and stay there until 16 and 17. So ride that running back train. It looks pretty good. Again, a little bit of turbulence there, 4 to 8. But after that, it looks really nice for whoever the RBs are. The only concern I have is all the murky. To me, it's really tricky here, and everybody's going to be jumping on the rookie wagon. And is that Robinson, maybe Brian? Is that who it is? Gibson, McKissick. It probably hurts everybody. So if I would have known this probably in June, May, I probably would not have been so crazy to get Gibson. I don't think I reached for him, but I've done about 50, 60 drafts, so maybe more than that. I don't remember. I may have, so that was bad on my part. Quarterback is all gravy, it looks like. First couple weeks, nice. And the playoffs, nice, except for week 15. Passing, Scary Terry should have a spectacular year. So you want him. And I don't know who the number 2 is, but it looks to me like after about week 11, you want the number 2 as well in daily fantasy and your flex. It looks all good there. Logan Thomas gets 4 nice games and could be viable early. It's just the wheels come off about week 12, so be aware. But then he has such an injury history that who knows how far he'll get into the season. He's not my one tight end, but I have drafted him in places as a 2 and assuming he's not going to make the entire journey. Okay, so how does that look with that? Only one hard game here, week 6. The rest of it is nice and easy. 5 here and above average easy, above the purple line. Does get a little bit of issue here week 3 to 8, so you definitely want to consider what you got there. But boy, after like week 9 past the bye, it looks all gravy to me. Nice. And the pattern shows that nice and easy first couple weeks, drops, and then here we go. About week 9 on, stays above average, and I think you can collect lots of good chips right there. So Washington, like Tennessee, is all about grabbing the right value at the right time. I'm not, but Scary Terry could really have a great season as well. Unfortunately, with the running back situation, that's I know everybody's jumping on. I don't think they're going to just throw anybody away of those 3. I could see a committee, could be a hot hand, assuming no injuries. So it could be more of a cluster than I wanted to invest in, tell you the honest truth. It's the way it's looking to me, but we'll see, you know. And first game, just realize first week, everybody's going to overreact. So it's going to get nuts crazy that first week or two. People going to superly overreact. So you need to consider using this kind of information, how to take advantage to pluck players that didn't do what they should have and maybe are favored later in the season. That's the trade targets, the waiver wires, these kind of things. So use this, watch and reach out there with your talons and grab from some of the weak players in your league so you can crush them later, and they're lamenting about how they shouldn't traded away players X, Y. It's coming. The overreaction is coming. That's who we are as humans. I've done some lessons on the psychological aspects, the system one thinking where we just knee jerk and fight or flight. It's coming. So everybody's not talking about that now, but it's going to happen. And it happens every year, and it's, it's the winds are going to be blowing here, and it's going to get you crazy because you're thinking, well, maybe everybody knows something, and stay the course, do what you need to do, but don't get crazy. But it's coming, so you've been warned. Okay, so this is my team by team. I have a little bit more of my lessons. I'll focus a little bit more on this, probably way more than you wanted. I got that, and that's fine. But I like to use it a lot more than probably some people do, just to make me inspire my thinking a little bit. So again, I've had this data for a while, and I've tried to think about what the data was wanting to tell me, right? It's telling me things, and probably not listening, but it's telling me things. Hopefully it's talking to you as well. Thanks for listening, the one or two that are. Woo woo. And hang out at the Science of Fantasy Football podcast here. I've got some more lessons on strength of schedule coming, and I will continue my journey here. And you'll see the format changes and got another way of looking at it here. Again. Okay. Woo woo. We're having fun.